This is the Daily Saints Pod with Zach and Greg.
Hello and welcome back to the Daily Saints Pod. My name is Greg, and as always, today joined by my good friend and wonderful co-host, Zach. How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. It's it's not the level of crash out I had after Middlesbrough, and I was also not absolutely exhausted because it was also yesterday. So makes me feel a little bit better.
That's good, mate. Look, into the hat of the fourth round, and not everyone's happy about the second half, but win's a win, innit? Like, we got through. Pompey didn't, just because their opponents were top of the Premier League and ours were at the bottom of League One. That doesn't matter. It's the joy of the cup. Anyone can beat anyone. Nottingham Forest.
You say that like, completely. Yeah, I was going to say completely ignoring the fact that the lowest tier team still in the competition knocked out the holders, and like we talk about cup magic, that's just it. That's the.
Sorry, I mean nothing sums up British culture quite like the odour of a non-league club coming on to celebrate the winning of a game against the Premier League team to earn enough money to presumably run the club solidly for another couple of years, basically, just by being in the hat for the fourth round. Like, yeah, I can't believe it. I bought the club on Rightmove. Like...
Oh, mate, it's yeah, you're right. That is British culture summed up pretty well. Like, you need to go. What is modern UK culture? Here you go. Well, for anyone that watches football or participates in football, right? Like,
but look, that's the important thing, right? We're in the hat, but there was more depth to the game than that.
There's so many questions. So much has happened as well. I did a whole transfer episode, Greg, on things that were happening, and since then, Ronnie Edwards has randomly gone to QPR, which I have lots of thoughts about that, and I might save them for our transfer episode that will either be Thursday or Tuesday, because at this point we can't give up the alliteration; it works too well. But yeah, like, you know, a debut.
I mean, look, the way things are going with the news and how it seems to break in like immediately. Maybe both, right? Like, it's just non-stop.
Yeah, you know, we're already seeing stuff about Baz, which, shows you that I guess other people don't see him as bad as he's viewed by our fan base, and I have thoughts on that too. But I guess like that's not important in a game like today. So
mate, let's start at the start. Let's start with the lineup, right? And it was let's say a heavily rotated team. Right? Was it 7 changes?
Yeah.
Like, it's somehow heavily rotated, but still, like, the spine of the starting 11, right? It's obviously a debut for Peretz in goal. Not really surprising us at all.
Nope.
Switched to a back 4, which might have been a bit of a surprise. Obviously, Wellington in, Yiller in, Kwashi and Harwood-Bellis, probably the 2 I would pick to go in a back 4 in the starting team, right?
My favourite thing about that, Greg, was that BBC Sport has defaulted to us having a back 3 for so long that the default formation was a back 3, and they didn't really know how to where to put the players, which was really enjoyable until it shifted. But yeah, it was good, and I think that the post match comments are interesting. Me and you had a quick discussion about the post match interview where Alfie House has gone a little bit harder than usual on Eckert, and he seemed to crumble under pressure far more than I'd expected him to. But yeah, 4 at the back. But we've got actual right backs now and actual left backs. But that's kind of what I'd expect. Maybe I'd have expected maybe Wood in for Harwood-Bellis. And obviously, we saw Wood come in later when they hit panic stations for whatever bizarre reason.
Default back to this horrible back 3. Which,
yeah,
I mean,
I think I was
seemed
surprised
to invite the pressure even more.
Yes,
yeah?
I was surprised to see Downs in. But, it was good to see sort of Mellows. It was good to see he could get in the game, get a goal. That was enjoyable. Jay Robinson got a couple more, sort of valuable minutes, and then obviously Archer getting on and actually scoring, which must have been good for him. But yeah, I think obviously we discussed it in the preview, right? Like I'd expect of them to put out a strong 11 for the simple fact that we wanted to kind of have an answer to Middlesbrough, and I can't say that we didn't, but I just think the second half collapse kind of like overrules a lot of what happened in the first half for me. But again, we'll get into it. But that was exciting.
Let's dive into it, mate, because it was. I mean, I don't want to say a textbook Tonderek Saints performance, but I mean, we had a great first half and capitulated in the second half, so it was a pretty textbook Tonderek Saints performance. Because
it was the West Brom game, except the fact that it didn't really feel like they were going to score at the end. It felt more like we would, but it was just enjoyable first half. I thought I could leave it for 15 minutes when I drove back to my house from wherever I was at. And then obviously I opened my phone and like talking to you about Middlesbrough, you being like, all of a sudden I was like, sorry, 3-2. That is absolutely ridiculous. I thought I could be quite safe in thinking I'd seen all of the action, and clearly I was wrong. And it's just frustrating to see. And obviously watched it all back afterwards.
And here's the thing for me, right? Because we talked a lot last week about formations and structures and that being part of our problem, right? And we swapped to a back four today, and for neither of the goals that we conceded was being in a back four the problem. The problem was that we can't defend corners, it seems, or crosses at all.
Any set piece, and I think that the idea that Tonda was talking about, sometimes it's okay to concede them, and I'm like, maybe don't. Like, if we can't defend against something like that, maybe stop conceding them. But this has been going on for so long, and I think I don't know how much merit is in your concept of the fact that our team is too short. Like, I think you've said that for a long time.
Yeah.
It's also like looking at the ball and making sure you know where it is also half of that. Like, that's what frustrates me the most. But it says to me that Parrott's had a really good debut. He really, really late, 2 saves in a row sort of thing. But it shows you that
really solid for me.
Yeah. Just look like a goalkeeper in goal without worrying that they're going to do something silly.
Do you feel like if Baz was still in goal for this game that we end up in extra time? Is that where we're landing? Is that why it's such an upsetting outcome?
I kind of feel like that it shows the fact that he conceded 2 and we all think it was solid, shows you that I don't think the huge problem was our goalkeeper. I think that there was a lot more pressure on Baz than needed to be, right? Like, I think if he'd had the ability to develop with defenders that kept the ball away from him, he probably it wouldn't have been such a talking point. But apparently we're that bad that we let balls fly at our goalkeeper constantly. Like, they had more shots than us, mate. Like, I'm not being funny. They are languishing at the bottom of League One. Like, they barely scored a goal in the last 5 games, and then they put 2 against us. So I don't know. I feel like it's the whole if my nan had wheels, she would be a bike. Like, we don't know, right? It's a moot point. But I will point out that, we will talk about it on transfer day, but Baz has already had an offer from another championship outfit. Ironically, whose keeper's gone out injured, which is why it's an emergency. However, that keeper was also a keeper a lot of us said that we should bring in the previous transfer window. So, yeah, it's interesting. But
yeah, I mean,
I don't know. It's the long and short of it. Maybe. Is that what you feel about
I don't know. Like I say, I think that. The problem to me is obvious, right? Obviously we're too short, right? But that is what it is. You can't inject players with super serum or something and make them grow 2 foot. That's not, I don't think, allowed. But we've had this I know we have an assistant manager and sort of some backroom staff for Tonda now, right? But we used to have a set piece coach as well, and all of these other roles that have not really been backfilled or done anything about. And it's it's no secret that we concede a lot of set pieces. Like, I mean, is it just me? Surely, though, you're seeing 2 and 2 here and putting them together, and like maybe if we worked on defending set pieces with someone who could specialise in set pieces, maybe we'd be better at it.
But then maybe when they had the set piece coach, didn't stop it either way. And like the conversation seemed to be having that, you know, a lot of the post-match, like that post-match press conference could have just been any generic manager we'd had in the last couple of months, right? I feel like it answers a lot more of my questions of how much the control is in the hands of the manager and how much of the control is in the hands of sports, right? And by manager, I mean, are we just saying head coach now? Because that seems to be what that conversation confirmed to me. But it just seems to be constantly like, yeah, so we spent an entire week working on this in training, and then they did that. And then I gave them a halftime team talk that said, you need to go out there, start really strong, don't concede in the first 5 minutes. Conceded in the first 5 minutes, conceded again, panicked. So then it was like, oh, fine, I'll put on another defender. And you're like, what? You're putting on another? We should be putting them to the sword. Like, I don't quite understand the logic behind it, and it makes us feel a bit tin pot. I'm not gonna lie. At least that's how I read that. I can't believe like conceding 2 goals and then just going, oh, rather than going, oh, well, we should just score another 3. Like, it says a lot. That's all.
You've got to think about the mentality of the players currently, and it's something that's been criticised anyway. But throwing away leads in the second half is, frankly, our MO at the moment. So I can see why the panic was there, and I understand why it set in. And you know, I don't know. Like I say, it was a heavily rotated team, right? So we have to give some credence to that.
Yeah, but like I don't know, because that just means that like where does it come from? Like look at those players, right? So who are of like the Russell Martin era or last year's era, right? Harwood Palace, to an extent, Wellington played like 1 or 2 games.
Flynn.
Downs,
maybe, and Archer. Yeah, that's the whole spine of the team. So it's you know
it's just what. Do you remember how I was like, I really wanted the new signings to come in and like rub off on the old signings, and then we kind of what happened was, you know, and I don't know. Again, I think we said we'd probably talk Wednesday, right, for player power or whatever. But it's just so weird. Like, it's such a bizarre thing to me.
Yeah.
That this just keeps happening. And it's strange. Like, and every time a coach is asked about it, they're like, yeah. It's the same thing with him almost getting defensive against Alfie, being like, I know you're going to ask me about the formation. It's nothing to do with that. I actually think we were better with a back 5. I'm like, doesn't matter though. Back 6, back 7, we need to be more resilient. How do we get more resilient? Do you have enough leaders? Resilient. And I'm like, oh, just mate. Maybe I actually preferred it when he said nothing. Like that way you just think there's quiet genius behind the eyes, and it's...
What do you make of Alfie's questions, which were pretty reasonable, I think, about Ori and him not getting game time in this game?
It is clearly either he's so severely unfit that it surprised them, and the only reason they've brought him in is for like a cultural shift. And it's like all of the stuff around, oh, he's unbelievable person, unbelievable personality, unbelievable leader, and this, that, the other. And it's like, okay, so is this just Adam Lallana Mark II? Have we seen the entirety of his appearances? Because like the plan of like, yeah, we need a plan to figure out how to get him into games. It's been 8 weeks. Like, what is the point at this point? Like,
I mean, also right with Charles coming back to fitness and Bragg really stepping up. Right, there's competition for that place now, right? Because Yander, for me, is first name on most team sheets for us because he's really consistent, and Flynn, you know, is a strong player in this league from what we see. And Shea Charles was absolutely bossing it before he was injured. And Cam Bragg, like you say, stepped up, had a good game, scored a goal. So is there any need to get Romeu fit? Is it just not part of their priorities because he's going to be what, 5th, 6th choice?
I like
play in that position.
Forgot he was back at the club, mate. I'm not going to lie. Like, after, I just kind of forgot. Like, that sounds really bad and awful, but I kind of forgot he was here, and that's all, and that's bad. And then, like, it's just a bit of a weird one. Like, it does feel like it was a a feel-good signing, right, around the time of like Eckert and all this and the other, and trying to kind of bolster morale and maybe get him in the back room. Maybe he can have a few conversations. He won't be on as much money, etc., etc. But it's just a bit bizarre because on top of that, when I was talking transfers, like one of the people we're scouting is another central midfielder. Apparently, like it's so. Yes, it
I
is.
mean,
Is
central
bizarre.
midfielder's a broad descriptor because I don't think that. I think that very clearly in the system that we want to play, there's no such thing as a central midfielder. There's a
True.
6 and an 8, right? Like there's a defensive midfielder and there's an attacking midfielder. There's no like box to box player that does both. Really, they all kind of dip in and do it, but it's very clearly segregated. In this is a defensive player, this is an attacking player. I mean, maybe in itself that's part of the problem, but that seems to be the way we want to do things and build teams. And as a defensive minded midfielder, like I say, Ori at this point is fourth, fifth choice for me. I mean, we even saw Barnaby Williams come in earlier on in the season and do a job. So
Okay, so then I asked the question, what was the point?
yeah, to deflect some of the opinions that were being shared towards the owners at the time is really the only answer, right?
I just don't know how much they care. That hasn't stopped them selling a shirt for 120 quid. Like, just.
Yeah, I mean, see, well, let's talk about that, right? Because I've seen lots of opinions on it. Some people are calling it like tone deaf, based on, I mean, whatever panic stations some people have put us in at the moment. And like, sure, it's not like we're cruising at the top of the league where we want to be, but also it's a known quantity, a known entity, right? Like they did the same thing a couple of years ago. In fact, when we were getting relegated from the Premier League. Sorry about that. So yeah, some people have called it tone deaf, sure, but like they did the same thing a couple of years ago when we were getting relegated from the Premier League. They brought out these all white shirts and they sold them at a higher price because they're a limited edition. And it's not like they're saying, "Oh, you're not a Saints fan, let's buy this shirt." It's like, oh, we thought we'd do something nice for people who want to spend extra money and have these like collectible items. And like in the same regard, if they didn't acknowledge that it was 50 years this year since we won the FA Cup, people would also be moaning, right? It's like,
Yeah, like they did it with blackout kits. I want to say last year they were really nice. Wish I bought them, but like,
and that's it, right? Like it's not like they're saying, "Oh, you have to do this." If you're a Saints fan, you should be owning this shirt. It's just like,
it
hey, we're
would
going to
have
make
been
this
in. It
nice
would have been
kit,
in.
and we know it's pricey, but also it's nice and it's limited edition. And if you want it, and it's pricey because that's what it is. It's for collectors and people that are willing to pay it, right? They're not. No one's like putting you in a hammerlock and say spend £120 on a kit. Like if you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. Like that's fine. I'm not in a position to spend that money on a kit. But
I think it's one of those things that it is really nice, and the problem that it's that price is probably what's annoyed people. And
yeah,
you're right, it's ludicrous because it's not going to be a thing that they're going to give away to
yeah.
1,975 people or 6 people, sorry, and then like that's not going to be a thing. And it would be lovely if they did. They probably have the money for it. Yeah, whatever, sure. But like this has probably been in the
Oh,
works for
why aren't you
ages.
spending any money on a striker? How can't you generate more money in the club? Oh, why are you trying to advertise to us to spend money? It's like, well, like it's you can't have it all of those ways. Like the club's going to do things to try and generate revenue and to commemorate occasions and do nice things, and it's what and
It'd be
sure some of
different
the
benefits
like
if we'd won games, right? Like I feel like if we come into that and the Tondereka winning streak had carried on, everyone would probably be like, "Yeah, it's really nice." It's just that we are at the moment we are peaking at the level of anger towards the ownership.
they're just they're trying, right? Like they're
Are
trying to do
they?
nice things and do the stuff, right? They're working on it. They're trying to make the football good. They don't want the football to suck. Because if the football's better, they make more money at the end of the day. You can't. But it's not like you can't be like, oh well, we're going to delay our FA Cup kit launch because I know it's been 50 years since we won the FA Cup, but also we lost 2 games on the bounce. Like, yeah, all right.
I
Like,
think
these things happen.
People are just angry. That's all it is, and they have a right to be angry. Like, you know, you've gone like year in year out recently paying for season tickets, like benefits being stripped and stuff. And I get that, like, you know, you're taking a very grounded approach to it, but also, like, I can understand as somebody that like lost my head a little bit last weekend. People are just mad. And it's a thing that you know, it's one of those things that you see, and it's like, oh, they want more money off of us. That's all it is. People putting immediate thoughts out there, and everybody's like hive mind conglomerates, and everyone just gets mad. And I think that if you're, I don't think that it's as deep as you're worried about. But I can understand why people are cross. But also, flip side, yeah, if you want it, buy it. It's going to be gone when it's gone.
It's a really nice shirt, and I'm a bit
really
sad that I can't justify the £120 on it because, you know, if I spent that money on a shirt, my wife would hang me with it. But
it also bends into the thing that like people think that they're going to force ownership change, and like I just don't think that, like, unless everyone stops going to games tomorrow, you know, we already had like that when we dipped massively and like attendances dropped and stuff, and yeah, okay, that resulted in still being fired, and now we're in the position we're in now.
Yeah,
it's just I don't really know like what we're hoping to do, bankrupt the club to the point where nobody wants to buy us. We're like relegated multiple seasons in a row. They don't know what to do, but hey, at least we've got our club back. And like looking at like what's happened to Wednesday and stuff, it's difficult because I agree with a lot of people and a lot of the criticisms of the ownership and how just has not been acceptable. But I just don't know what the right response is. And if people want to use their voice in a specific way, then that's fine. But also it's created division because people are like, well, if you don't immediately want to like come to this protest or do this, that must mean you hate the club. And it's like, no, people just don't, like, it's just not that deep for people. Like, we think about this stuff a lot because we do daily podcasts on the team. There are some people who would just attend the game on the weekend and they'll still love the club. It will still be an important part of their personality, not their entire personality. And I think some people kind of like forget that. If you get stuck chronically in something and you get pigeonholed into like non-stop paying attention to something like this, of course you're just going to get more and more angry. And like you can see it, like in the comments of pretty much anything that's posted, it's just Sports Public out now, right? It's growing. Like I feel like the sentiment is growing, but I just don't. Their problem is going to be when they run out of figureheads to shout at, right? Like the next one is Spurs, and that's probably one of the reasons he's so worried about what to do about transfers. Because if he doesn't get it right, you know, you end up with another problem. And it's
can we
like
have a centre back that can defend corners and a striker that can score goals, please? And then we'll all
but then also we got we've got no attacking players other than Cienza. You're telling me that you'd happily have Jay Robinson for the rest of the season if Cienza got injured? You probably want someone with a little bit more experience. And you know, the whole conversation about leaders and being like, we don't have one, which is insane to me because they've made every single manager has kept Jack Stevens as leader, as like captain. And then you literally have the head coach being like, yeah, we got like some leaders. People do leadership things, but we don't actually have roles and leaders. And you're like, so you don't have like a leadership team? Like what's going on there? And then you've got like supposedly this divide between players. And then also, I feel like that the whole conversation, I'll talk about a little bit now, but like because of the Ronnie Edwards thing, right? Is I can't help but remember that Ronnie Edwards was a transfer that was like before Sports time, right? Which is why he was brought in. He was a hot prospect that would hopefully do really well. You know, he had a really good season at QPR. Hasn't managed to break it into the team, and they've gone, we'll cut our losses because it's not a profile that I've selected. It's not a player that it's more of an unknown, and it will just be more money in the key. Whereas everyone else is like, this is insane, and it's because it's not their bag, so they don't really care. It just all feels a bit weird at the moment, mate. And I think that it's summed up by how this game ended. Like to get back to the review.
That's it, right? But at the end of the day, we won. We're in the hat, and that's the important thing. We can all look forward to drawing Liverpool away and getting knocked out in the next round.
Yeah, exactly.
Or worse, Macclesfield.
That'll be Bants. But like It's
And look,
just it's weird because like that press conference, mate, felt like it wasn't a win. Like I don't
felt
know
like
if
a
you read
loss,
it
didn't
back.
it?
Yeah, it's
And
strange.
how can you build on a win, even a win against a lower league team, right, with a rotated squad? A win is a win, and we should be taking that confidence into the next game. And you know, 2 games in quick succession at home, and we should
Yeah,
be looking to, you know, do stuff with that and make it. You know, our home form's pretty good at the moment, so
Mhm.
you know, these are the sort of things we should be looking now to just cruise on upwards and, you know, recover from frankly disappointing festive period. So, I mean, look, let's see how that goes, right?
Yeah. I just I worry that it's been. I'm starting to worry at what point does any manager or head coach come in and struggle with the players we've got, because there seems to be
Mm.
something to me behind the scenes. Like if you are genuinely telling me that we cannot play a back four and that we're having to shore up with a back three because everyone's there just seems to be something
That's
weird to
nonsense.
me. Yeah,
It's
which is
nonsense
why
because neither of those goals were conceded due to the formation.
no,
Maybe the set
it's a
pieces that were given away were because of it, but like if just any of the 11 players on the field could just jump up and clear the corner, job problem solved. You know, like it seems
yeah,
like seems
it's
easy to me. I don't know, but there it is.
yeah. I'm trying. I'm trying to. I see where your optimism comes from. I'm very much in two minds at the moment. That's all. I'm cautious because also like Hull are a good side. When we come up against them, that's going to be harder work than I think that
Yeah,
we were aware. And then obviously sooner rather than later we got the South Coast Derby, and I just can't imagine like another post match press conference where it's like, yeah, tried our best, just
yeah.
didn't pan out. Like
But like a 5-0 win at Fratton Park is probably enough to ease the pressure on Sports Republic for at least another season. So we'll
this is
see.
also true.
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah,
Right,
for
mate.
sure.
Look, it's nice though. It's nice that we're both feeling different paths because that's the great thing about the game and why we love it. Because all of these opinions are valid and it's great. I love it, and that's why we love chatting about it.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure, 100%.
that's all we got time for today. So, as always, mate, thank you so much for joining me, and thank
Thank you,
you
mate.
everyone for listening. Let us know how you're feeling. If you're feeling on the optimistic side or on the pessimistic side, we would love to hear from you. Let us know in the comments or on the socials. We are the Daily Saints Pod everywhere. X, Blue Sky, TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Hit us up. Let us know. Am I down in that section? Why not give us a like and subscribe? We are an independent podcast now, so all of those things go such a long way to help us out and come talk to you every single day. Let us know. We love hearing from you. We will be back tomorrow to talk about something, be it transfers or players. Who knows? We've got so much to talk about. It's going to be such an easy week. But until then, I hope you all have a wonderful day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
This is the Daily Saints Pod with Zach and Greg.
Ooh, that speed.